Hey guys, this is Philippe the Learn to Grow guy. I gotta tell you, today I'm not very aesthetic, as Mike Tyson used to say. Now, here's why. I was using my 2,000 horsepower weed whacker, electric weed whacker. Well, electric weed whacker is correct. And I was weeding along this side here, And what I did is that I decided to try to weed whack around where this little area of Jerusalem artichokes were planted, okay? And as I weeded around that way, and you see that there's still some weeding I haven't done yet. Well, I happened to pull out a dead one of these here, one of the dead plants, and this is all that was on it. I'm like, how can this be? This cannot be. But if you look right there, you'll see the white areas right there, here. It looks like something may have been eating off of those. I used my bare hands to dig this stuff up, and all these are little tiny suckers in this here. And I found this buried under there, under this pile here, under this little mound down here. And what I do know that likes to bury stuff is squirrels. So I can't tell you if this is a squirrel job or a vole job, okay? Now, I like my Jerusalem artichokes, and I think there's a video from the past you can take a look at, but here's what I'm seeing. You see that? That looks like a vole hole, okay? Now, there's a significant difference between voles and moles, and here's what it is. Voles are vegetarian. They're plant-based, okay? They got a plant-based life habits. Yeah, more holes in here. They've got a plant-based lifestyle, and moles themselves, they like to eat the insects. Okay, they like to eat whatever grubs or whatever is buried on the ground. That's what they will eat. They will devour them. They'll eat them all up. But like I said, voles, they look like little mice. Okay, moles have claws in the front and the hind legs that they use for digging and such. Voles, I'm not sure. I don't think they have that. They look like little mice with short tails and stuff like that. And those suckers will burrow through your garden, and they'll eat whatever it is that they want to try to eat out of your garden. Now, before I condemn them completely, let's take a look and see what else we got. Okay, what we do know is that I found a black walnut that was buried underground. Okay, this big green thing here, that's a black walnut. Okay, my black walnut trees, yeah, nope, is that tree over there. That's about roughly 40 feet or so away. There's another small one here. I don't think that's going to bury itself underground. I think something live would have to bury it underground. Okay. Now, so let's see what else we can find. I'm pulling up some of these here in the hopes of finding more stuff that's buried. Well, it looks like this one did pretty good. This one got some stuff on it, but I don't understand why this area here was completely devoid of these artichokes. These Jerusalem artichokes, and the others, and this side seem to be being a little bit more productive. Well, which is good, which is a good thing, okay? Because if indeed I do have a major vole problem here, I've got a recipe that I'm going to be using, okay? I've got a recipe that's going to need to be used. Now, this little thing here, that's from Jerusalem artichokes. That's a little baby there. We've had the whole summer for these things to grow. Actually, we planted those last year, and if you look through the videos, you'll see some stuff. Actually, there should be a whole lot more here than just what's at the base of that plant. And by now, this should have been a whole lot larger than these. Okay, like I said, I'm seeing evidence for squirrel, which is that black walnut being buried. And I'm seeing the vole hole. See, this should have stuff growing on it. And there's nothing there. Let's stick a little around in the hole here. This stuff should have more than just these little bitty ones here. Or maybe there's more stuff buried underground. Let's take a look, see. Well, there's one. Oops, ants. Yeah, there should be more stuff connected to these here. Really? Yeah, something's been eating them. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to handle this non-diplomatically. Okay? What we're going to do is that I'm going to get some Jiffy cornbread mix and some baking soda. Okay? I was talking with a sister from church earlier, and she's got a mouse in her house that she'd like to get, she'd like to have leave. She wants them to she wants that mouse to vacate the premises. And so what I suggested to her is that she get some Jiffy cornbread mix, and the other component is some baking soda. 1 tablespoon of baking soda and 1 tablespoon of the cornbread mix. So you've got 1-to-1 ratio. That's what you've got, okay? And she's going to, and I told her to mix them properly and then put them in some containers or small containers or whatever all around her house and such. And the thing is that since mice are rodents, and from my understanding, they do not burp, okay? They do not burp. And what will happen is what happens whenever you add a base or an acid to a base. And basically you're going to get a production of gas, and that gas should actually eliminate the rodent, okay, the mouse that she's got. Now voles, okay, voles, the ones that look like little mice, they are rodents also. So that same process should work on them. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to find some little containers so I can, put them open, or like little open mouth containers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix on a 1-to-1 ratio. I'll take 1 part baking soda and 1 part Jiffy cornbread mix. I'm going to mix them properly, and I'm going to put them in those little containers. There can be just little dark areas near each of those holes, of those vole holes that I see. And the goal is, the desire is that they will come out and they will eat them. And as they eat that mixture, that they'll go back to their little holes and stuff like that and do not come out ever again. Now, if they come out, the good part about using baking soda and the Jiffy cornbread mix is that it's not toxic to your dogs or anything to that nature, your cats that may end up eating, or even the wildlife that may end up eating these voles if they catch them. It's not toxic to them. It does not do them any harm. But for these rodents, since they're not able to burp and stuff like that, that means that, they die, and whatever animal catches them, they got a seasoned meal, because baking soda is on the salty side. So I guess they get baking soda. I guess they get salt and cornbread. Yeah, whatever eats them get, salty cornbread. So that's what I'm going to do. I've got to find some small containers so I can make that put that mixture together. And I'm going to put it around every place where I see a vole or a vole hole. Okay? That's what I'm going to do. See this here? Vole hole. See this here? Vole hole. Vole hole. Vole hole. Da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. Ya-da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. Vole holes, vole holes, vole hole, vole holes. Vole holes. And under this tree here, I planted one of these trees a few years ago, and they ate out the bark. They ate out the roots. See that? So that's what they like to do. They like to just dig holes and eat up everything, eat up everything from underneath. And so the matter needs to be addressed. And so since the matter needs to be addressed, I will have to address it. So it is what it is. I don't like to do that, but at least I'm trying to keep things as clean as possible. Okay. I don't want to pollute my environment by poisoning wildlife and stuff like that. I don't think that you should do that because that'll affect other stuff, and I'm not trying to do all that. Okay. Now, there is no way that this is all that I harvested in that area where the Jerusalem artichokes are. There is no way this should be all of it. There should be a whole lot more than that. Every plant I pulled up, every plant should have had plenty on there, but that's not the results that I got. So, again, I gotta do what I gotta do. Okay. Always remember that gardening, farming, it's an experiment. If it succeeds, you eat. If it doesn't, you starve. Okay, y'all take care, okay?